Good morning, good morning. It is me, your host, Sharifa Hardy, and I have an amazing show for you today. I am sure you're going to enjoy today's guest. Why? Because you have seen them before. We do have one new guest, I'm sorry, but we also have two returning guests. And so I know we're going to have a lot of fun today. And so while I'm getting ready to introduce our guest, I'm going to ask you to do what I always ask you to do, and that's to go ahead and share this show. And if you haven't shared a show before, I need you to share this show because I guarantee you it's going to be some moments that your friends are going to want to see. It's going to be information that they are going to want to hear, and you can bring that information to them. So while you're sharing, I'm going to be introducing. And I want to go ahead and introduce my first guest. This is my girl, my friend. Every time she does something, I share it. Every time I do something, she shares it. We met, we instantly clicked. And from then on, we've been changing the world together. Now, Chandra, our guest, is a business consultant. She also does PR, but she is so much more than that. She is a diversity and inclusion expert. She is someone who is always motivating and promoting other people. She is a gatekeeper who's known for opening doors for people. So like I said, go ahead and share this show while I introduce Chandra Gore. Good morning, Chandra. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me again.
You are so welcome. Look at that smile. You got to just love Chandra. Chandra is amazing.
Thank you. I try.
What are you up to these days?
Trying to stay sane. Um,
In an insane world, huh?
yes, trying to stay sane. I've been working with some new clients, getting them some visibility. Some people are actually using this time to take their businesses down the platform. So I'm all excited because it's like I get to help them to cultivate and to redo their vision. And also, my voter registration drive. I just did my training so that I can help people virtually learn how to register to vote, show them how the form is used, and also to help them to understand they can go into the office and, you know, place their votes or ask questions or, and make their voice heard because this November is very important. So
This November is very important. And I know we say that every 4 years in November, but this November is very important.
yeah.
People talk about everything going on in the world from this thing to that thing. And I'm like, okay, but you cannot fail to recognize and to mention that this is an election year. And every
hmm
time it's an election year, it's like the world just goes crazy. So you're helping people. What are some of because to me, I would feel like most people should know how to vote and why to vote. Why do you feel that most people, why are you laughing, Chandra?
because everybody is like that's one of the biggest things. You should know how to vote now because they don't teach that in school. It's not something that they teach in school. So a lot of people are getting they get their information from their peers, social media, or even their parents, and sometimes their parents don't even know. So yeah, like a lot of these things are not, it's not common knowledge for some odd reason. They'll give you a credit card in school, but they won't teach you how to go to vote. Like that is just the craziest part. But yeah, a lot of questions like why do I have to show ID, or why does my dress matter? All these kinds of things like come into play. A lot of people don't know the rules about provisional ballots and all of these things. Like there's so much to voting that it's kind of murky right now. I mean, we just had a law, like almost a law. It's not into play yet because they're going to see it in courts where the lines are being redrawn. So where your polling place may change. There's so many different things you have to think about when going to vote now. So yeah.
You gave me a whole bunch of information. So,
So
I'm like, you mentioned and this is me, because I love asking these naive questions, right? And I
Mhm.
ran for Long Beach City Council, so a lot of these I know the answers to, but I want you to explain it for people who don't know. Because you mentioned, okay, it should be taught in school, but
Mhm.
I would think most people would say, okay, don't you just go pick a name? Like they're too, pick it,
No,
check the one you like best. He's cute, he's smart, no, I'm just that. Don't
that
quote
does
me on
play
that.
though. That does come into play, like what they look like. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna get some flack for that statement. When I said it, I heard it. They was like, Sharifa, you can't tell people to vote for people because they're cute. So I'm gonna retract that. But I'm just saying, don't you just
Mhm.
pick the person you like the most and vote for them?
No, you have
No.
to be informed, like know what their platform is and how they their views align with yours.
Hmm.
Sometimes you won't be able to find someone across in your party that your chosen party because their views may not align with yours. So sometimes you have to look at the issues, look at their platform, and make an informed decision. It's not just about what it's just not as simple anymore
Hmm.
with voting. It's not because someone could be an independent and their views, their stance, their what they want to do in office aligns with your beliefs. So
Hmm.
you have to vote along the lines of what your beliefs and what your values and what you would like accomplished for your family. You have to be informed. Don't just vote because this is the person's always been in there, but they haven't done anything. They haven't put your family or your values or your children's future into their plans. So it's time to change the guard and vote for someone who can help you. So
What would you
I
say to
just
people who feel that their vote doesn't matter? It's
first of
only the
all,
electoral votes and okay,
that electoral votes thing changed earlier this month.
okay.
They did do like there was a law that came into play that they would actually go off of the popular vote, even though that's been the way that things have always been done. Had we had popular vote count in the last presidential election, like you have the electoral college where these are individuals who may not believe what you want to believe. So that law, like I'll post the information about because I was doing a write-up about what the law means and how does this change everything as a whole on how the votes will count. Your vote does count. Just never say that your vote doesn't count because even on your city and your county and your state level or commonwealth level, your vote matters because your mayor, your district attorney, your sheriff, your judges, like there's so many different things you're voting on. So don't just think just because it's the presidential election. No, it starts in your backyard. So if you have people who are running for city council right now, look at that. Look at all of these things. Your school district. Listen, there's more than one election. There's other elections that are more important than the presidential election. That's yeah. I could go for hours on this. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We're gonna go on for this amount of time, and we're gonna come back at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time because we're gonna bring Chandra Gore back to Face Talk Show to hear more of her views. But Chandra, one of the things that I love about you since the first time I met you is that you are passionate. Like you are unapologetically passionate
Mhm.
about what you do. You don't, is you some people try to be cute with it. You know what I mean? And I know you know what I'm saying. Like they
Yes.
try not to make any waves and
Oh,
oh, I just love for people to vote. And you're like, no,
get
get
the
out
vibe.
there,
Thank
do what
you.
you gotta do. And I love that. I love the direct approach about it. So I want to talk because Chandra,
Yes.
where you was about to go, because I saw you were about to go into a whole nother
Because you can't
comment
be
for me.
nice all the time, like because people don't understand. This is very important. You don't want somebody representing you who doesn't know anything about what the community is. Like somebody just some Joe Schmo off the street who I just want to make some change, but you don't even know what's going on. Go ahead, because voting is important. I'm gonna get a shirt that says that voting is important. That's it.
Okay, well, wear it to one of the shows. Get it fast so you can wear it for Friday. You know what I
That's what I'm
mean?
gonna do. Yes.
Friday show. Now, Chandra and I have been interacting in so many different forums. That's why it's so interesting. But we were on a panel about race relations in America about 6 weeks ago, a month ago. I don't recall what the time was, but it was an experience It was a wonderful experience. Do not get me wrong. I loved it. I love the opportunity. We're going to do it again this Friday, July 24th at noon. We're going to be live discussing race relations in America. But one of the things that I did stood out to Chandra. What was that, Chandra? Don't do that. Don't put your hand down. Don't do that to me.
Okay, y'all. Okay, listen. Think about this. As soon as we get on the panelist live, she goes, well, I thought it was going to be other people. I'm like, oh, Lord. Well, since she started out like that, I guess we're going to do it. Because we didn't know it was going to be just 4 Black women. We thought it was going to be a multicultural, diverse panel, but it wasn't. So they got what they wanted that day.
No, because I thought it was. And I'm like, but how, and the thing about it is I don't care what anybody says. That's right. Go ahead and share this show because this might be one of the most controversial roundtable talk shows you will ever see. But my question is, how can you discuss race with only 4 Black women? You don't even have Black men. You know what I mean? Like, how can you solve a problem when you only have one part of what's going on? I mean, was I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, but it's like, you know how you just you just started out like, okay, it was a shock, and then they were okay.
I like that. I love shocking people. I love when you can, because see, the thing is, people always want me to talk. And then when I speak, they're not sure they wanted to hear what I had to say. And so it was like that experience is like, if we're going to do this, this is how we're going to do it. And I love to just change the dynamic because I always just come and take control and voice my opinion and change the conversation. I love to change the conversation, which is what I'm going to do right now. Chandra, I'm going to go ahead and change the conversation and introduce our next guest. Now, our next guest is amazing. And we're going to talk about his book. We're going to talk about him being a speaker. We're going to talk about a lot of what he does. He's a certified health and well-being coach. Amazing. He is the CEC of Battle Coaching. He's going to talk about his podcast, so much more. But I'm going to be quiet for at least a little bit because I just want him to talk. Anything this man says, I'm NPR. Like, yes. I would love to introduce this morning Mr. Nate Battle. Good morning, Nate. How are you?
Good morning. Delighted to be here.
Oh, yes. Can you say that again, please?
I said, good morning. Delighted to be here.
Oh, well, welcome to the show, Nate. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about you, who you are and what you do.
I am an ordinary person using my remarkable life to make a measurable impact, extraordinary impact in the lives of others. What I do as a coach, speaker, and author is live up to my mission statement, which is encouraging others to endure through crisis challenge while inspiring them to live up to their fullest potential. Having gone through a number of challenges in my life. My last name is Battle, first name Nate. If you abbreviate it, in battle, I have been in battle my entire life. And I'm choosing to use that experience of being in battle to help others. What I've learned is we don't get through this life without facing challenges and crisis. No, that was never promised to us. There's going to be adversity. So we either learned to deal with it, manage through it, and make it work for us, or it works us over. And having been worked over by it for a number of years, I decided to take the upper hand and use it and leverage it. And then I chose to document those and share it in my book, Battle Endurance. Sorry, I got to have a little plug here, but my editor wouldn't have it any other way, which is, how you can give everything you have to give. And well, there's a better title, how you can be someone who never quits and gives everything you have to give. And it's really, as a guide to help encourage others. We as individuals, nothing I've been through in life is unique to me. Everybody has faced challenges. I have been through an extraordinary amount. I've overcome cancer. I've overcome a 10-year long distance relationship in a 35-year marriage. We were about to separate and moving. We were best friends, always have been. First girl in life I ever had a crush on. We're stopped on the third day of moving to go back to the doctor to get the cancer diagnosis. And I said, well, let's put all that on hold. I've witnessed a suicide. I have been there myself where I've lost the will to live. I've suffered depression. Okay, I could go on. There's a number of things and challenges, but none of those are unique. Everybody's faced those. Even with that litany of challenges, I've yet to meet a person who I would trade problems with.
Mm.
Okay, so each of us have a different ability to deal with challenges in our lives. What is unique is us as individuals. So I've tried to document and provide insight on how to get through those challenges. Anyone can take their challenges and apply this approach to their own life. Look for the lesson in it, and it's a simple process. Let go of the things that we don't control. It doesn't serve us to dwell, to live in the past, which is called reliving. Live now, live in the current moment. All we ever have is this moment right now. The future, as Eckhart Tolle says, when it occurs, happens in the present. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, couldn't buy 5 seconds of yesterday. Yesterday ended last night. So live in the present moment and then win. It's a very simple concept. Celebrate every victory, even the small ones, because that gives us motivation. So that is what I use to survive. And I just decided to write it down and share it. Well, the time I decided to write it down and share it, I was going through a medical issue. I thought I was dying. And I thought this would be my parting gift to the earth. It turned out I didn't die, obviously. I'm still here. And that's a powerful statement, by the way. When life punches you in the gut, all you have to do is say, you tried to take me out, but I'm still here. And when you look life in the eye, and when it's taken its best shot and didn't take you out, that's a win. And so I turned out just to be a chronic illness, but in any regard, I love sharing that. I love when the light bulb goes off. I love when people realize their fullest potential, or they can go on and, this happened or that happened, or they made a mistake, or this unexpected thing occurred. But you know what? I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to use that against what tried to take me out, what tried to dissuade me, which tried to steer me, and it's different for different people. Some people had a really tough time with the election results 4 years ago. I was on the phone with some of them the day after, and that's a hard conversation to have with a female, saying, what country am I living in where this is allowed, where this can happen? That subject y'all started on voting was that we could spend 3 shows on that alone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start there. Anyway, interview.
We gonna move Nate right on over to face-to-face talk show. Not today, but we gonna bring you on because that's when we have the hard conversations. But I love listening to you because one of the things that I heard in that amazing voice of yours is strength, right? I heard your strength. I heard that you understood that you are not broken. And there are so many people who go through these experiences, and at the end of the day, you can hear in their spirit that their spirit is broken.
Mm-hmm.
And I love your strength because one of the reasons why I do this show and all the shows that I do is literally to take away people's excuses. That's like the main reason, because people will tell me, Sharifa, I can't do this because I can't be successful, because I can't be an entrepreneur, because, and I'm like, okay, well, let me sit you down with Chandra Gore. Okay. Let me sit you down with Nate Battle. Let you talk to these people or watch their interviews. And then you can see that despite everything that they've gone through, they're still here, they're still smiling, and they're still trying to help other people.
Absolutely.
And that's why I love to meet so many people who are making a difference in the world. So I applaud you. Now, I always say that because I love to bring people up who are doing well, but I also like to show other people that it wasn't always like that. Like me. I've been laid off 8 times. Okay, I've lost everything that I've owned. I've been divorced twice, and I'm positive. I'm up. I'm trying to help people, but there were days when I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't know why this is the life I signed up for, but but then I get up and pick myself up. What do you do to pick yourself up?
There are days, having been on the verge of being a multimillionaire 3 times, and each one of those times starting over from zero, scratch, not a dollar in the bank, due to challenges beyond my control. Those are some tough times. When you go from being in a great position financially, Relationship woes, as you talked about. The days when it gets the toughest is a couple things that I do. I start with gratitude, and it literally begins when I get out of bed. When the foot hits the floor, thank you. And the next step, thank you. And the next step in each step on the way to wherever it is I'm heading. That begins the process. And then starting to think about things that I can be thankful for, the smallest thing. If I can open my eyes, if I can hear, if I can taste, if I can smell, if I can stand, if I can walk, if I have a roof over my head, if I got up out of a bed, that's a long list. What we do as humans is we tend to focus on the negative while still laying in bed. Well, who's going to get up? Life sucks. This happened. My boss is a jerk. Repossessed my car. I can't go nowhere. Ain't got no money. Well, I'm just going to lay here and waddle in self-pity. I'm going to throw a pity party. I'm going to send out invitations. And as it always happens, nobody shows up. Right. So we've got to change the narrative.
Well, let me just say, I don't mean to interrupt, but I promise you, you don't want me to show up to your pity party. Because I'm like the general. I'm like, if you don't get your butt out that bed right now and stop feeling sorry for yourself, you got 2 arms, 2 legs, you got a brain, you know to be like, I don't want to hear it. You with me, Chandra?
Yes, because you have 30 minutes for your little pity party.
Okay, fair enough.
31, you're getting your behind up. Like, what are you dwelling on it for? You're alive. Go ahead, because
I mean, as long as you have breath in your body, you have something to be thankful for. If you have a faith, when you no longer have breath in your body, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. You still win. Okay, so either way, if you're still here, there's still a fighting chance. There's still one of the times, let me tell you this, I went broke. I had worked for pre.com. They had listed to go public. The receptionist with 500 shares would be a millionaire, according to the CEO of the company. The stock was said it was going to perform after Cisco stock similarly. I exercised 26,000 shares, left the company, started a nonprofit, started doing philanthropy, watched us go and list on the market 2 weeks before we were supposed to go public. The bottom fell out of the tech market. I was holding on to a worthless piece of paper as opposed to millions that I was supposed to retire from. Nothing I could do about it. Out of my control. I worked for that company for years. I had a spreadsheet that this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm working literally at times 24 hours. This is why my last trip to Europe was 6 countries in 5 days. While I, extended trips, flying all over the place. We went from 2 facilities in North America to 14 in 7 different countries in this organization. I worked my tail off. And that was hard. It was tough, but I'm still here. And quite frankly, had that happened, I wouldn't be the person that I am now. So the other thing, to answer your question, that I do, first, it's gratitude, to get my mind in the right place. And the very next thing is to find somebody to help, because that gives me like fulfillment more than any money, more than anything. When I have nothing, I reach out to try to help somebody else. Because guess what? I don't have nothing. I have a gift. I have an ability to help somebody else. And if each of us do that in our struggles, we won't have to show up and say, get your butt out of bed. We'll be motivated to say, I can make a difference. I can leave more of a mark on this earth than my tombstone. I win. You didn't get me.
I love it. I love it. I think that is so beautiful. I love your smile. I love your energy. I'm pretty sure you motivated a lot of people before, and I know you motivated some people today. I want to go ahead and introduce my next guest. I'm telling you, I know you remember Chandra, but if you don't remember anybody else, I know you remember my next guest. This is her 3rd appearance on this show. And each and every time she appears on the show, she amazes us. I have never had a guest that I really don't even have an opportunity to talk about their primary business, because I'm so focused on everything else that they do. But with this next guest, I'm always inspired and blown away. I want to introduce Sue Wilhite. Good morning, Sue. How are you?
Good morning, Sharifa. Thank you for having me back. And I kind of want to just, retire, because Nate just said everything.
You can't retire because Nate said everything. You got to stay here with us. You got to talk to us. We need you as a part of this conversation.
Takes a
Yeah,
village.
but that was just amazing to hear. I totally get it. I tell people it's the one thing that I'm glad that that I'm a failure at, was that I attempted suicide when I was a teenager.
I'm
And
sorry to hear that.
yeah, it really,
But I'm happy you survived though. So let me
right,
say that.
right. I failed
Yes.
at being a suicide. Good.
Yes.
This is a good thing.
Yes.
And
But let me just say this, and I didn't want to cut you off, but you know I do. That's why I do here. But it just reminds me, so not to go too much into that, but what I've been told is that more women than men attempt suicide, and more men than women commit suicide, because women commit suicide in less lethal ways. They'll take some pills, go to sleep, but they wake up in the morning. Whereas the men get that shotgun and it's done. They say women, it's more a cry for attention than anything else. I don't know. That's just what I heard. What are your thoughts?
I had every intention of being off the planet. I just didn't want to be in pain when I did it. And that's my big motivator. And on the Enneagram, I'm a 7, and the 7s avoid pain no matter what. So, you know, there
On
was
the what gram? I'm on the what? Let's go back to the what gram. The what gram?
There is a personality assessment that's kind of based on Jung and a little bit on the Myers-Briggs. There's a little bit of each of those. And it's called the Enneagram, Enneagram. And there are 9 personalities on the Enneagram, and I can't recite all of them. I just know a few of them. My number on the Enneagram is the 7, which is sometimes called the epicure, sometimes called the adventurer. I love things that are new and different. I want to be new and different. I want to seek out new and different. Detail bores me. Detail drives me nuts. Do not ask me to do your accounting. Even my accounting, it's like, oh God, worst thing ever. And the avoidance pattern for 7s is pain. We will avoid pain at all costs, and lots of things get lumped into pain. Different 7s have different versions, but definitely for me, physical pain, emotional pain, I will avoid it at all costs. And when I was a teenager, I was going through the years between 10 and 18 were they were really bad. I was abused sexually. We moved away. I lost the school that I'd been in. I was in public school. I got bullied, relationship issues. It was just the whole hormones, the whole 9 yards. And I just decided that I didn't need to be on the planet anymore. So I broke into my mother's medicine cabinet and I took a bunch of pills. And what saved me was my friends found out I had sent them a letter to say goodbye, and it came early.
Look at God.
Dang,
Look
that post
at
office.
God.
And so they came over and they pounded on the door until I got up and went and opened the door, and they made me call suicide prevention. And suicide prevention saved me, not because of suicide prevention, but because the woman cracked me up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Susan, you're having such a bad time. How can I help you? And she was just like somebody out of a TV show. You know, she was like a parody of somebody doing counseling. And I just started to laugh. And I just giggled and giggled and giggled. And my friends got me, and they got me out of the house and walked me around the block and made me drink a ton of water. And I got it out of my system.
But did you get it out of your system? That's the question. You got the pills out of your system, but did you get the need or the desire to kill yourself out of your system? That was enough.
That was enough.
Okay.
That was enough.
Because we need you here, Sue. We need you here with us.
And this last 6 months have been incredibly challenging. You know, with everything that I know and everything, I'm just going to be real honest and transparent. there have been times when I've had to do what Nate says. It's like I'm lying there in bed going, yeah, I think I want to breathe the pillow here.
No, Sue.
But see, that's why I get up. It's like, well, I can't be that selfish.
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to record a message for you. Okay, and I'm going to send it to you. You say all, but you may not like it because it's going to be, you know what I mean? It's like if you don't get your butt out that bed right now, this minute, I'm coming over there. You know, because and it's weird because my friends, the ones who know me, they tell you, do not call Sharifa in a crisis. I am not the friend to call in a crisis. I have a friend who is literally, she's ill, right? She has this blood disease or blood disorder, and she doesn't take care of herself. She lives in Seattle, and we talk all the time. And I'll say, have you eaten? No, she says, I'm not feeling well. I feel real, faint or whatever. And I go, have you eaten? And she was like, no, I don't have an appetite. I said, okay, well, either you're going to force yourself to eat or I'm going to force you to eat. Like whatever one works best for you, but it's your choice. Pick a choice. And if you really want me to go from Long Beach to Seattle to put food down your mouth, I will. That's how I am. And we need you here, Sue, because you help so many people. You give us readings. And did you bring your cards this morning?
I got my cards.
Okay, so I know the first time you did a reading for Paul.
Right.
The second time you did a reading for everybody in general, like the general energy. Now what I'm trying to do is get you to give a reading for our friend Chandra here, who keeps being Chandra. But let's grab some cards. You're going to connect with Chandra. Chandra, you're going to give Chandra the rules. And then we're going to be all up in Chandra's business this morning.
Okay, Chandra, you get to unmute for a moment. Come on back, Chandra.
I'm here.
There we go. Okay, so here's the deal. You get to ask a question, and the question can be, what's up? What's up for me? Or you can ask a specific question. And I'm going to pull 3 cards. Actually, you're going to choose 3 cards remotely. It works, believe me. But you get to think of a question.
Okay.
And you get to tell me what the question is.
Okay, how do I pull a card?
How do you pull the, well, yes, the way you're going to pull the cards is I'm shuffling right now, and I'm going to spread the cards alongside of me here, and I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to go across the top of the cards, and you're going to say now when you want a card chosen, and I'll just drop my hand. Okay.
Okay, so while Chandra is thinking of her question, I'm going to ask my question for Chandra. Is Chandra going to help as Sharifa take over the world?
Well,
of course.
That without cards. That's a yeah. Yeah,
we're going to do this, Chandra. We're going to do this together. You with me?
Yes.
Chandra's like, I don't know what's going on, but yes.
I'm here for it, because if there's an opportunity out there, I'm gonna put you on to it to make sure we're gonna take over the world. We pinky in the no, we're not pinky in the brain, because I'm pinky, I guess. You the brain. So
we're gonna find some others.
Yeah, somebody else.
Okay, I kind of like Laverne and Shirley, because I don't want to go to Thelma and Louise because of that whole ending thing.
They jumped off a cliff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're gonna stay on the planet. That's the whole point of all this, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, Chandra, what's your question?
For what? For you? For me? What?
Yeah, I'm going to pick cards for you. I'm going to pick cards.
Well, you know what? Will my next project be successful?
Will your next project
be like 17 projects, but go ahead. Pick one of them. I don't know.
Before Sue answers, I'm going to rephrase Chandra's question, because Chandra I got you, Chandra. I got you.
Yes.
Chandra formed it, and she stated in the form of a yes or no question. So, Sue, what does Chandra need to know about her next project?
Yes, in order to be successful.
In order to be
successful. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. So the magic finger is starting over the cards now.
Stop. Big money, no whammies. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to start again, and you're going to say stop or now or whatever.
Okay. Stop.
That one right there. All right, last one.
Stop.
That one right there. All right. All right, cool cards. All right, so the first card is called Harmony. It's the Eight of Wands. And this has to do with bringing things together. And that's what you're about, right? This is the card. This is all about bringing, and it's not just bringing things together, it's bringing different instruments together, right? It's like the flute and the violin and the woodwind, and
Okay,
then. And the thing that always occurs to me with this card that I just love about it is, you know how when you go to a musical or an orchestra or a ballet or something like that, and the orchestra is tuning up, and then the concertmaster has everybody play an A. There's that one note that goes out, and they're all part of that. Every single time, that gives me chills and brings me to tears. And that's where you are. You're bringing all of this together.
Well, look at me.
Make that one beautiful note that's made up of all these different strands.
Well, okay, dear.
Okay. Second card. This is your action card. Your action card, this is called the Child of Wands, and it's called the Seeker. And my nickname for this card is the Rikki Tikki Tavi card. This is the Run and Find Out. So there's news.
I love that book. Go ahead.
This is the Run and Find Out. This is the there's some new stuff that is new to you that you need to bring into it, that's from a different tradition or a different way of thinking or a different way of being, because that's what the child represents, is something new, is looking at it with new eyes. But it's the seeker. You're seeking it out and bringing that newness into the project.
Well, okay then.
Okay.
I like that. I'm always
the final one. This is always fun to show, especially when I show this to men. They get a little freaked out. This final card is called the Woman of Worlds, which is the Preserver. And the reason that men get freaked out, let's see if I can make it work, is there's a pregnant woman on the cover in the lower.
That could either mean I'm gonna stay or I'm gonna leave. That's why they're scared about it.
So you're right.
That's a child. That's a check. There's money that's involved right there. But go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Because the world is all about money and physicality and things that are manifesting in the world. And this is, even though you're bringing some new stuff in and you're creating that harmony, you're also bringing it together so that it stays.
Oh,
right, making something that's permanent and long lasting, lasts beyond you, maybe lasts for generations, because that's what the Preserver does, right? The Preserver preserves for future generations, for the future.
That's what I'm all about, creating legacies and generational wealth. You better tell me my future. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, this
is me.
Yes, I love
Whatever
it.
you want to say it.
I love it. I love the cards. I love reading. And I think that was great. Interpret that for us in terms of Chandra's questions too.
Oh, well, what she needs in order to be successful is to bring in these different elements, including something new that she hadn't thought of before. And she's already on it with the, preserving the legacy and making that real. So she just needs to literally bring it all together. Just bring it home.
Okay. I need to give me another team though. Go ahead.
We got a team. We got your whole team. We just need to start assigning things. Right.
Yeah.
So was that last card the Empress too?
No, this is called the Woman of Worlds. It's the Preserver. It's one of the minor arcana. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's not. So which one of the minor arcana is it?
So there's two parts to the tarot. The tarot has a structure. And there's the major arcana and the minor arcana. You can pronounce it arcana, doesn't matter. The major arcana are what are big energies in the world. So you name one, the Empress, the Emperor, the star, the sun, the universe. They're big energies. They're archetypal. They're powerful stuff. The minor arcana are like if you took the majors and you sort of faceted them out, like going through a prism, and there's 4 suits in the minor arcana, and every one of the cards relates back to one of the major arcanas, and it depending on the suit, it's that sort of fraction of the card for that suit. So for instance, you've got the 8 of Wands. So the Wands has to do with the spiritual quest and the adventure. And so the Wands are the 8 in the major arcana, which is balance or justice. And so this is an aspect of justice, of harmony, of bringing things together. That's the spiritual side of justice. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. My question was, what was the last card?
The last card
The
is
pregnant lady.
it's not what it's one of the minor arcanas, and this is in the group that's called the family cards or the court cards, and they're not numbered, but they are the masculine, feminine.
So is it a queen? Is it a page? Is it a knight?
It's a queen.
Okay, so it's a queen. There
The
was just very
feminine energy of that suit.
Oh no, it's just very interesting. It's just very interesting because one of the things that I stood out to me if I were to read the 8 of Wands, especially in reference to the question, was 8 of Wands is always about opportunities coming to you. So it's always one of my favorite cards in the deck because it simply means there's nothing that I have to do. Everything is being sent to me and being presented to me. So in reference to a new opportunity, it's not like it's not saying go create your plan, go do this. It's saying these opportunities are on their way to you. So that's to me that's one of my favorite ones, and I love it. I love being able to do the readings. You are correct. You have the major, you have the minor. The major are major life lessons that happen to you. Those are your deaths, your births, your marriages, your divorces, and then minor arcana are always minor life changes. You spilled your coffee on your shirt at work, but you got a job. You know what I mean? So that goes back to looking at the positive side. So we already knew Chandra's going to be successful. Some things that she need to keep in mind, bringing in the people, bringing in the new ideas. I think that was wonderful. What do you think of that, Nate?
Well, I know that Chandra is my new best friend. Because I'm going where you're going. No, I love the concept and the idea of when we hear certain things in our mind, this supercomputer begins to calculate and formulate. And as she received that energy, as she received that word, she began to open up herself to that possibility. And our minds and our energy are like radio frequencies. If I don't like country western, I ought not tune to that channel, right? I need to tune to the channel that I want. And that's what she is in the process of doing right now. She's tuning to the frequency of what it is that she wants in her life, for her life, to accomplish. And those are people who you want to align with if your paths, your trajectories, your destinations, and I don't know if destination is the right word, because destination means end. The journey doesn't end until we're no longer here. But if you're headed in that same direction, which is why, yeah, you're kind of stuck with me, Chandra. I'm gonna just kind of follow, maybe ride your coattails to success, help you achieve. I was inspired by that. I want to help you be successful. I mean that. So I'm gonna bug you after this.
That's fine. I definitely need the accountability. I definitely need that. I'm not above that anymore.
None of us are, really. That's like what Sharif said about, if you're laying in bed having the pity party, the general. All of us, coaches need coaches. So that's a given. But I want to see that come through fruition. I really do. So I want to help in that. I'm inspired. Man, this is a great show. Awesome people I met today. I'm good. Can I go back on one thing real briefly, though? There's a couple things. For every person that attempts suicide, for every person that succeeds at suicide, 25 attempt. The suicide rate this year is over 500,000, and it's higher than the number of corona deaths.
Mhm.
and we're only halfway through the year.
That is true.
The last part of that, and because when that subject comes up, I have to speak to it. Where I had gotten to the point, and so you struck a nerve when you said something, where I had gotten to the point where people who commit suicide don't want to die. They just don't want to live.
Yes.
There's a big difference. They're not weak. They're actually very strong. And one of the ways we get into that mindset is we get in ourselves, we get in our own head. And if we can step out of that and we look at the person who's in that bad place, we can see that you thought life was going to turn out this way. You thought things were going to happen in this manner. You thought you would be here at this point in life. You thought that would or would not happen to you. Right. Who said you are the authority on how life is going to flow?
Mhm.
So it is not suicide that we should be committing, because that is to take a life, and a life is a gift that we were given, and we have no right to take that. It's committing suicide.
Mhm.
I actually wrote that as a chapter in my book, and it's a free download on my website. I put that chapter free on my website called Suicide. Go get it. It's a PDF. And it talks about the process. If you're willing to end your life as you know it, then be willing to let go of everything in your life, everything, every expectation, and begin anew. But you're still here. And that was the aha moment for me. I don't have to end myself, but I can let go of all of the attachments. I don't care what happens to me economically, relationally. If I am willing to not be here tomorrow, then I can let go of. If I took myself out today, the bills tomorrow wouldn't matter. The problem that I'm worried about a month from now wouldn't matter, would it? Right? So why don't I just let go of my attachment to that and still live? Now I have a whole new life. And then it becomes an inspiration. And that is the point. There is what brings us down is we're trying to pre-live the future. It ain't here yet. We are worried about things that have not happened yet. And think of the worst things you thought of in your life. Did it happen? No.
No.
We can create Stephen King in our mind. Movies never come to fruition. So that is one of the that when we're in a place where we no longer want to live, we're either reliving the past or pre-living the future. Get in the now. And then the other part of that is I saying that is you have to ask yourself, whatever it is that's on your mind that's just weighing you down, how is this affecting me right now in this moment? Or rent's due, or the mortgages right now, this very moment. Granted, if my car is sliding towards a semi or the semi sliding towards me, yeah, that's an imminent thing that I probably can be a little stressed out about, right? But if it's something that is not affecting me in this very moment, I'm not going to let that weigh down on me. I'm going to live right now in this very moment, 5 seconds at a time, and then 10 seconds, and 25 seconds, then 30 seconds. Then I'm going to crash and burn. And then I'm going to go in 5 seconds, and then 15 seconds. I'm going to get up to a minute, and I'm going to crash and burn. I'm going to start worrying again. But with practice, if we have developed inherently an ability to worry and stress ourselves out. We got really good at it. We can get really good at bringing ourselves up. We can get really good at being positive. It's not just positive thinking. You don't say to a depressed person, oh, just think positively. Come here, let me poke your eyes out, pull your tongue out, and wrap it around your neck. No, it is within ourselves to reverse the negative, to retrain ourselves. Sort of like when you're growing up as a child, you've got a video camera, it's on record. And then when you get an adult, you press play. But as adults who grew up in dysfunctional families, we need to learn to press stop and re-record. The same thing is true within ourselves.
Yeah. Could
Stop
I
the.
say something to
Go
that,
ahead.
Nate?
Please.
Because I found that I was having difficulties in this last 6 months, I did something that was to keep me on track. And I recreated something that I did 4 years ago, and I rebooted my 30-day happiness challenge.
Nice.
And so I have been posting every single day in July this 30-day happiness challenge. So you can find it on Facebook. It's the 2020 30-day happiness challenge.
Nice.
And it's a group, and people can come and join and read the old posts and, catch up. But one of the things you were saying about, take that 25 seconds and just sort of, catch up. The post for today is about meditation. And meditation is all about being in the now.
Absolutely.
And just, okay, we're just going to take another breath and one more breath. And we're just going to be in that breath and be in that life for that moment, for that breath.
Yes.
Because now, and physicists are catching up to us, now is all we've got. That's
Now
it.
it is
Now.
the magic. The miracles and magic happen in the moment.
What
You know what
see,
I mean?
What you see, what you focus on is what you bring to you. What you read to Chandra, she's now focused on. She's seeing, she's focused on, and she's going to bring that to her. She remains focused on it. It's this supercomputer is incredible. It's just how we decide to use it, what we decide to focus on.
Yes, and we can use it for good, or we can use it for other means. And we
Absolutely.
are using it for good. And we're also inspiring other people to use their voice, their life, their story for good as well. I want you to talk to us a little bit about being a profit master and how you can utilize some of these tools to attract profits to you.
Oh, thank you, Sharifa. Boy, that's my favorite subject. Is I'm a law of attraction coach. And one of the things that I just love teaching people is about how the law of attraction actually works. And it's all about really being in the now and being present with the energies and the thought patterns that you're putting out there. So if you're putting out, well, I'd really like to be successful, but I don't know that I can, then guess what? The universe is going to put on the brakes. So you want to notice those thoughts, which is where meditation comes in really handy too. You want to notice those thoughts and flip them around in any way that you can. It doesn't even have to be the opposite. You could just say, well, what if I could just be a little bit successful? What would that look like? What if I could just have somebody say something to me that is inspiring, and I'm going to go look for something inspiring, and look, I found it. Wow. And that reinforces that positive energy so that you attract more and more and more. You attract clients, you attract mentors, you attract people with beautiful voices and inspiring lives. You attract whatever it is you need. And the deal is to pay attention and use that.
Absolutely. Whenever I'm working with someone who is frustrated, or maybe they're going through something, I always ask the same question. I don't care what their situation is. I ask, do you meditate? And they're like, no, I don't meditate. I don't know how. I'm like, there's no wrong way to do it. And I think that's where meditation went wrong a long time ago, is people taught that you had to do it this way. You had to do it that way. You had to do it sitting up. To me, and the way I was brought up is that prayer is speaking to God. It's talking to God. That's when we go to God and say, okay, God, I would really love this big house, right? God, I was raised to believe that it is my pleasure to give you the kingdom. It is my pleasure to give you your heart's desire. But then we focus on prayer and we don't focus on meditation. So prayer is speaking to God, whereas meditation is listening to God. So if you ask God for something and you're not waiting for his word to give you the steps and the directions that you need to go into, then you're missing half of what you're asking for. He probably told you, go over there and call Chandra and she'll tell you how to get the house, but you wasn't quiet, you wasn't listening, you wasn't waiting for the next step. So I always tell people, even if it's 15 minutes a day, put it in your schedule, meditate, listen, wait, have peace and silence. And like I was talking earlier about Chandra's reading, the answers will come to you. That's what I've learned in my old wise age now at 44. The answers now come to me. The people come to me. I'm attracted because I've asked God and I trust him to deliver it. And before, y'all know I'm an ordained minister. So before I get too much preaching. We are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who's watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives. And I want to start with you, Nate.
I've got, as on that last note that you just spoke to, also as an ordained minister, when the meditation, you just said something. God knows what it is that you're going to ask before you ask it. That comes through that meditative process. He gives that to you. It is a relationship. And if my kids came to me and said, Father, thou art, willeth thou provide me with thine college tuition, I would be offended. If they spoke to me in a relationship, and that's why some people say, I don't believe in religion. I said, religion is man-made. I get that. But do you have a relationship with God? And that's the faith that keeps you. I want to talk about other things, but that point that you just made is crucial. If you have a relationship and a faith, and you are conversing, talking, whether they pray without ceasing, that's that conversation. That's a conversation that just continues. You're always, somebody's going to come to me and say, well, God told me to tell you. Say, hold on, you're interrupting my conversation with him to tell me that. Don't. Sorry. But at the end of the day, faith, when it doesn't make sense, when you're at your wit's end, when you can't see taking that one step forward, let the faith, the belief that you're here for a reason, that there's a divine purpose for your life, be that one thing that causes you to take that next step. I promise you, you will not regret it.
That was beautiful. I heard the ordained minister in your voice. I heard it all the last hour, and that was going to be one of my questions. I just heard it in your voice. You recognize it. So I appreciate that. Everyone definitely want to go ahead and follow Nate Battle. You can follow him on LinkedIn at Nate Battle, Facebook Battle Coaching, Twitter Battle Coaching, YouTube Battle Coaching, everywhere Battle Coaching.
Lord.
Definitely want to go ahead and check them out. Sue, what do you have for us?
Well, go to the 2020 30-day happiness challenge for sure. Also, go to my Facebook page, Sweet Sound of Success. I have a podcast. Episode 7 is coming up this Friday with the wonderful book coach, Kimberly Day. And I'm just delighted to do that. I'm like Sharifa. It's like, I love interesting people and getting them on my show and getting it out there.
I haven't received an invite. I want to be on your show, Sue.
You're getting the invite, dear.
Okay, you know, because I start getting a little jealous.
Y'all are getting the invite.
I start getting a little jealous. I'm like, but Sue's talking to her, and Sue didn't talk to me.
I'm on it.
I'm just giving you a hard time, Sue. You know I love you. Can't wait for you to come back. I was watching my emails during the show, and I'm like, Sue is on it. Sue done already scheduled a couple more shows, so I love it. You're always a pleasure when you're here. Chandra, what do you have for us?
Follow Conversations with Chan on Instagram, and also the Urban Flight Foundation. Like I it's hard for me to promote myself, but I would say just follow me on LinkedIn, Chandra Gore Consulting. Please, if you're not registered to vote, I'm talking directly to y'all right now. Find out why you're not registered to vote, and then register to vote. We have time before the next election. Find out if there are primaries being held or any kind of elections being held in your community. Please get more active in your community and understand that your vote does matter, your vote does count, and help those who don't understand how to vote or what they can do. But voting matters, and I really want the biggest thing, like, I'm not promoting me. I want you to exercise your voice. It starts in your backyard. You cannot get mad because they don't put a stop sign on your street and now you got to stop 3 times before you get to your destination. You should have voted. Now, that's all I got to say. Vote. That's it. Like, figure it out.
We need you to record that. I want that little piece. I'm gonna play it for all the people when they complain about anything. It's gonna be push play, Chandra. You should have voted. Like that's what I want to hear. So look, now I want to talk about my neighborhood. You talking about all those stop signs? They done came up with all these wonderful ideas around here with all these roundabouts. like maybe I should have voted, because these roundabouts, they really started to annoy me in my neighborhood. Like, I don't like roundabouts. Just put a light, okay? Just
I'm
put the
not doing
light
this
right
with
there.
you.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But thank you, Chandra. I have enjoyed the
Welcome.
show. We have provided so much information. One of the things, and nothing else that we know, is go vote. Because if not, they could put a roundabout in your neighborhood and there's nothing you can do about it. We learned from Sue. Sue was vulnerable enough to share her story in detail about when she attempted suicide and what it took to get her back on the path to helping other people. So I appreciate you for that. Nate, you shared your journey, you shared your struggles, you were so also vulnerable. And I just appreciate all of you for coming on the show today, sharing your story, sharing your information, inspiring other people, because I know for a fact that someone out there watching this show, maybe they didn't want to get out of bed, but they heard my voice, they heard your story, and they are now at 9:01 a.m. Pacific Standard Time are out of the bed. So God bless you all. Thank you for being on today's show. I also want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch the show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives. I definitely want to say a special thank you to Julius Carl Frank Sr., who is a top fan who tunes in every day to watch the show, and Shalon Lee, who tunes in every day to watch the show. Everyone else, James, Lee, Jade, everyone who tuned in, I definitely appreciate you. But do not just watch the show. Please share the show. Please go to the Facebook post, visit our guest websites, follow them on social media, send them a message. And when you contact them, please let them know Sharifa Hardy says hi, because I want them to know that you heard it here on the Roundtable Talk Show. And if you are interested in being a guest, please visit the website at asksharifa.com. Until no, I went the wrong way. Until 10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Yes.
Pacific Standard Time today. In about an hour, I have another show, face-to-face talk show. Chandra Gore will be on there. We'll get Nate, we'll get Sue on there on a later date. But we discuss the difficult questions, race relations in America, what's going on. You don't want to miss it, because we have the uncomfortable conversations you always wanted to have. So tune in today at 10 a.m. and I'll be back on the Roundtable tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, everyone have a safe and a blessed day. Bye now.